What's up, everyone? Welcome back. It's your boys Roy and Trevor, and we're back here to give you guys another some smack of knowledge. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying, Trevor? So how you been?
I've been good, Roy. You know, we're in the second month of this new year. For me personally, I've been covering the Phoenix Suns through my professional program on top of ASU. So it's been a ride. It's been a little bit since we've done UpLift, but I'm looking forward to get back to it.
So you're starting to move forward with like what your career aspirations are, right?
I am, and I'm really enjoying it. I'd love to cover professional basketball someday, so just getting after it.
That's always a good thing, and you know that's perfectly going forward with what we're talking about today. Like we're gonna be talking about like taking action and like what you have to do to like get there, right? Like you have to know you have to pursue what you want, right? You have to be able to adapt to all these changes that are gonna be thrown at you, and then overcome yourself through all the obstacles thrown. So Trevor, like taking action, like what does that like really mean to you?
I think it's the best thing that we can do as men, because a lot of reasons that anxiety and kind of fear build up in our minds, I believe, is because we don't take action. The more we think about things, that's the more time that you spend on that and the less time that you actually spend doing something. And I've found when I just go into something, whether it be a homework assignment, something that's got to be from work, if I want to just go talk to a girl, if I just do it, I feel so much better after, because then you don't overthink in your head what could happen. You don't think of all these possibilities, because that's naturally how we can be sometimes.
Yeah.
If you just go do it, take in the experience, and then you can reflect on it after and be like, okay, here's what I liked, here's what I didn't like, and then you can improve for the next time, because life is always a learning process, you know, no matter what we go through. And if you can approach it like that, each time I'm just going to practice, I'm going to keep doing this, you know, you're going to get better at it.
Yeah. So when you take action, right? Like, do you just go with it, like think in your head, like I'm just gonna do it right now, or do you go like, okay, 3, 2, 1, I'm just gonna get up and go do it, right? So like, what's your process look like leading up to you actually taking the action?
Yeah. So one thing that I've adapted in recent weeks is I try to take a deep breath in for 4 seconds and then a deep breath out, because the more your mind settles on something, the less like I don't want to do it. So if I just get my mind clear, because when you take a deep breath, it clears everything. You're kind of just in a neutral, sort of like, I don't know, Om state, if you even want to call it like that. But like once I'm in that sort of phase, I can just go ahead and have a clear mind to whatever I do. So yeah, that's what works for me.
So like, did you start learning that like back in school, like with homework and classes and like stress and anxiety and stuff like that? Or how did you start to figure out like the best and healthiest steps for you in order to get to the action?
This is actually something that's been more of the last 6 months for me, I'd say. You know, just with a lot of things, because I actually struggle with my anxiety a lot, whether it would be taking on a certain thing, like being, you know, we used to be high school athletes, so for basketball, if there was a challenge like within my team, I would be hesitant to speak up about it. Like I was the team captain, but it's still sometimes I'd be, okay, maybe if I let this slide, like the guys will like me more. It's like, no, like if I didn't like something, I should have been on it right away and put an end to it. And I feel much better now, because even when I make a decision and I look down the road and be like, okay, maybe that wasn't the greatest decision, at least I made one. You know what I mean? Like at least I put it in place. I don't know, how have you kind of felt about that?
The action aspect, or how you've evolved?
Yeah, I mean, just like the decision aspect in your life.
Yeah, I think that I look at a little bit different approach towards the actual action outcome of it. I look at like what is something that I need to get to achieve my end step, right? So like if me having to get up in the morning, like I said in the past episode, if I have to get up at 6 in the morning and my alarm goes off at 6 a.m., then I don't go like, oh, why do I have to get up like 5 more minutes? Like I go, okay, 3, 2, 1, and I'm up and now, right? Because if I don't give myself that visual countdown, like 3, 2, 1, or I go start whatever I got to do, I just start to give myself ideas like, oh, I don't have to do this because of this, and it starts like putting excuses into your mind. So every time, the longer you delay something, right, you just end up finding out that you don't want to really do it when it's something that you need to have done. So I've looked at it more like, I don't care what is in the way. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to take action and just do it right there. 3, 2, 1, done. Get up, go do it. So that's something that I've done. And then bringing it back to like you said about like school and stuff, like all of us, like I'm sure most of you guys listening are also like college students, high school students. It doesn't matter what. Like everyone's always a student in life, right? And unless you take action, something that you're trying to overcome, how is it ever going to happen? So you keep telling yourself, I'm going to put it off till tomorrow, I'm going to put it off till next week, I'm going to put it off to my next year's resolution, right? So you're like, okay, like it's good, like I'm going to wait, eventually I'll get there, eventually I'll get it done. Well then, in reality, you end up finding out, it's like, wow, like I never did anything. Like I told myself I was going to do it, but me putting it off, instead of taking action immediately, ended up me going the opposite way I wanted to go. And I think going back to our past episode of like habits, right? Like if you don't take action, you're going to start building bad habits. And like, it's just one or the other. Like either you take action and stop yourself from achieving those habits, or you take action and pursue those pursue those things you want to overcome. So it's however you take it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so right, you've heard of the law of attraction, right?
The what?
The law of attraction, like what you see about, you bring about. So that was one of the earliest sort of things that I came in when I got into personal development and saw. And I found it works, but you have to, just building off of what you said, put in the action to do it. Because if you manifest everything you want in your mind, or at least you visualize it, and they say that's how you manifest it. If you visualize it, you see it, it's going to come about. You have to actually take the steps that are getting put into that in order to bring those things to life. For example, if you see a cute girl that you want to talk to and you're looking for a new partner, you got to go do that. Like, you can't just visualize it. There's the opportunity to be like, oh, okay, there it is. Like, it's just going to happen.
Yeah.
You got to go get it. Same thing with your job and career. If there's an opportunity that you want and you're not at the skill set that you need to be yet, whether it be your vocal skills, your writing skills, whatever it might be, you got to add those and you got to put yourself in position, and then that's what's going to bring it about. There's never anything that's out of your reach. It's always what you put into it and how you bring it about yourself and put that pressure on yourself to be like, I'm going to do this. That's how it's going to make it happen.
Yeah, like going back into what you said about making it happen, right? Like, you look at all these different startups in the world, like Amazon, eBay, Apple, like any type of startup you can think of, so pretty much any company. And the reason why these companies ended up growing to what they are isn't because they sat in a closet all day afraid to like show everyone like what they had, right? Like, they got up and like, no, like today I'm going to do what I need to get done so I have a better tomorrow, right? Building off of today for your tomorrow. You don't build off of yesterday for today, you build off of today for tomorrow. Right? And it's really important, because if companies didn't figure out like, okay, if I don't take action, like I want to better the world in this aspect, right? I need to take action in this regard in order to achieve my overall goal of bettering the world. So like, if Amazon didn't decide that he's going to go and keep working to create an e-commerce website, what would have happened during this pandemic, right? Like, all the stores were shut down. How would we have gotten like basic utilities that we need? And then you also look at Elon Musk, right? Like, operating at a net loss for years to come. I think he's about to finally be on track to break even. But it's like, he dedicated himself for so long at just taking action on what he believed, that he was willing to go through all the pain and discomfort of not achieving his success until he was finally there. And that's what's so satisfactory about actually taking action, because you're like, you just feel so much better after it's done. And it's in all aspects of your thing. Like, if you want to start eating healthy, getting on a diet, like, the more you talk about it, the less appetizing it's going to sound. But then once you finally do it, you're just going to feel like, yes, like this is something that I actually needed. This is something that helped me achieve my thing. So going back to my original comments about like building a business, if you don't take action first and put your idea into reality, someone else will. And do you want to live the life and regret like what I could have, should have done? Or do you want to live the life of like the classes, right? Like, I did it, I pushed myself to get it done, and look where I am now. And like, well, yes, you might fail in the first 5, 10, 15 tries, but that's the part of growing. And at least you took action, so you have nothing to regret.
I feel like that's the biggest thing in the pandemic too. We're really seeing a separation from the people who go get it versus the people who are just going to sit around and sort of wait to see what happens. Because let's face it, when this thing started, a lot of things got taken away. And a lot of people built the excuse, oh, nothing's open, everything's shut down, this is time for me to shut down. But then there were the other people who saw it as an opportunity, whether it be, okay, how can I expand my business in this time? What are the limitations of this? And what can I bring out of it? You and me, we built our own gym in our backyard. We were like, okay, we have extra time here. We've always wanted to get into fitness. How can we get started? How can we start to piece this together? Because we do have that time. And then same thing outside with our work. Like, for me, I started doing a lot of recruiting interviews for my ASU outlet. I started to piece together different job applications. I updated my resume. I was starting to put myself in position when I had that opportunity, because it was a unique opportunity, and you're seeing now how a lot of people have benefited it. You know, whether it be a lot of just online companies, self-starters. You know, for us, like, I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life now. You know, just going back to last August even. It's been a revelation. I can honestly say that 2020 was the best year of my life. Yeah. And it's because I took action. It's because I didn't let the time go by. It's because I got after it. I didn't make excuses. I saw what the opportunity I had in front of me, and I just did it.
Yeah, going like what Trevor said about the gym, right? Because we try to throw that into every episode, right? So make sure you call us out on it if we end up not including it in one episode. But it's like Trevor said, we took action on something that we believe that we want to achieve, right? So even though everyone else is telling us, oh, you can't go to the gym's closed, right? Just work out at home, do body workouts, whatever it is. Like, yeah, well, that's great, but it wasn't helping us achieve our goals. Our goals is we wanted to have certain equipment so we can achieve that next level. In order for us to do that, we had to invest in ourselves, whether that means buying our weights, buying our bench, buying all the dumbbells, buying everything that we bought because we wanted to take action to get to where we wanted to go. How can I get from point A to point C, skipping point B? And by skipping it, I don't mean like actually skipping it, like jumping the lines, but I mean like how can I jumpstart myself that point B ends up happening in point C. So that's like just a different type of mindset to look at it, right? Like taking action doesn't have to mean brushing your teeth every night. Like yes, well that's important, like hygiene is a really important action to take, but like look at it more like a broad sense, you know?
You're trying to tell us something here?
No, I'm not saying anything. You do whatever you guys want, you know? But like look at it more like a broad sense, right? Taking action is just like, what do I need to better myself? All right, like this whole podcast is about is uplifting ourselves, right? Like we're uplifting ourselves by speaking our truth to you guys, and we hope that you guys are uplifting yourselves by just taking in even just a little bit of what we say, right? Because while over there you guys are like, oh, these guys don't know what they're talking about, right? They're just like talking for the clicks. But like we've actually been through what we're talking about, which is why we wanted to share everything. So like when we, all the topics that we bring up is stuff that we struggled with before, and we're like, we need to show everyone like how we overcame. And that's all that it's about. So to take an action, like this podcast, we took action on something that we've wanted to talk, we've talked about for a while, and we're like, how can we get it started? So what started out like as a fruition of an idea, ended up being like us taking action in this YouTube channel, right? So just take action, step out of your comfort zone. There's nothing wrong with being uncomfortable, and it'll actually help you grow.
Yeah, and you'll find out things about yourself that you never knew before. I mean, getting into this fitness thing, I rarely weightlifted in high school, you know, only for preseason basketball stuff at times. And when Roy and I started, I was a little intimidated too, because in my sophomore year of college, I had gotten to the point where, you know, where you gain the freshman 15, yeah. I gained the sophomore 30 at that point. I was weighing at least like 225, not feeling good about myself. And I didn't really know what to change. You know, I thought everything was fine. Like I was living life the way I should. We played Fortnite, you know, probably 8-9 hours a day over the summer, and
maybe
had Raising Cane's 3-4 times a week. So, you know, we've been where it's like, and in the moment you don't feel it's anything different, but when you get to this sort of place, when you get yourself on a process in order to get to where we are today, like it feels amazing. Like I've learned so much about myself, and I think that's one thing too, is when people get started, they look at it in a result based thinking, okay, like, and you compare it to other people, like, why is that person bigger than me, or why do they have this thing that I don't? You have to come into it with the sense of, what can I do right now? Because the only thing you can control is the present. You can't affect the, you know, whatever mistakes you made in the past that happened, whatever happens in the future, that's going to be a product of what you do now. So when you have just a now mindset, the present, I'm going to do this right now, and then I'm going to build onto that, that's when it starts to build, and then that's when you start to see the things over time.
Yeah, and as you see the growth building over time, it's going to promote confidence, joy, and fulfillment, right? Like you're going to see yourself, wow, I feel better about myself because I know that I can actually do it. Like, look, I did it. I've been doing it. You feel fulfilled because you get it done, right? I've been doing it and I'm getting it done. And then you feel joy because you're like, if I can do it, why can't I show everyone else how to do it? Why can't people feel the same thing that I feel? And then instead of going out with like a meaningless life, you go out with like, you have joy that you want to give. You have fulfillment you want to show, right? You have confidence that you're portraying. And it's going to help you in every aspect of life. You go into work, right? You have that interview like Trevor was saying earlier. When you walk into it with confidence, then they're going to treat you different. Because if you walk into an interview slouched, looking bad, not making eye contact, they're going to be like, why is this guy here? Right? Why is this girl here? Like, what do they really want this job or not? But when you come in with confidence, ask them those hard questions. Like, why do you want me? Right? What's wrong with that? Why not asking them what they're looking for in a candidate? See if their ethics match what you want. Do their values line up with yours? When you take action, you'll start to understand what's really important in your life. Because the stuff that you don't want, the stuff that's negative, the stuff that's negatively impacting you, you're going to start taking action to remove it out of your life. And like, while that may be hard to say right now, like it actually happens. Like, believe it or not, if you start taking action on just some good that you have planned, you will see all the negative habits you have in your life.
Yeah. And why is this important? It's because it builds internal confidence. I'm reading a book right now, and I'll bleep out the title, but it's Everything is Effed by Mark Manson. And one of the things that he's showing in that is that there's this uncomfortable truth in the world, is that at the end of the day, whatever we do in our life, unless we make some kind of historical impact, doesn't really matter. So when you think of it on that level, both, okay, like if I make a mistake at the end of the day, it's trivial, but at the same time too, what am I going to find that's going to get me out of that uncomfortable truth? What's going to give meaning to my life? So when you're doing things like building the business you always wanted about, following your passions, whatever it might be, whether it's sports, it's weightlifting, that's going to give you the internal confidence that portrays to other areas of your life. Like we've talked about this too. When you're going up to women, and especially guys at our age, I feel like, are looking for validation from the results. Like, okay, does this girl like me? But that's external confidence. And same things with the people you hang out with, right? Like, do these people like me? That's external confidence. If you're thinking in that way, you're not feeling good about yourself. That's when you know you have to focus on yourself. So when you do that, and you can come from a place of, I'm doing what I got to do, that other stuff doesn't matter. When you're going to meet new people, when you're going to a new job, and if you ever face rejection, you're going to take it as, okay, it's not the end of the world. It's something I can learn from. Maybe it's that person, because I'm doing the things that I need to do, and that's going to make you feel good about yourself, and it's going to take away a lot of the trivial problems that a lot of people have.
Yeah, it's also bouncing with the idea, if you're questioning the people that you're with for their confidence that you're receiving, like, why are you with those people? Right? If you have to question the intentions of the people you're with, and if you have to question how you feel with the people you're with, then maybe you shouldn't be with those people. So maybe you take action to try to figure out what the problem is between you guys. Right? Maybe they're having negative implications in your life. Maybe they're pushing you to do things that you shouldn't be doing. Right? Like, a big thing in our society is like drugs and weed. No, that's the same thing. Drugs and alcohol, right? Yeah. Everyone's like, oh, I do it, you should do it. Like, oh, I'm doing it, you can come try it, right? But it's like, why? Like, if you do it, that's whatever you decide. I'm not going to tell you what to do and not to do. That's up for you to decide. But like, if you're seeing that it's negatively impacting your life, like, why keep doing it? Right? Take action and just say no. There's nothing wrong with saying no. And if people get mad at you for saying no, then they're the wrong people to be in your life. Because the people that are in your life that are turning you down on positive ideas are the ones that are never going to live a positive life. They're going to live their life based off lies, off false happiness, and being addicted to something that isn't actually there. The false reality of society, right? And that's what we said about social media in the past. Like, taking action doesn't mean posting what you're doing on social media. Only the close knit of people need to know what you're actually doing, because they're the ones that have your back. The 500, 600, 700 people you have on Instagram following you, right? Or the thousands, whatever you have. It doesn't matter how big, how small your page is. Like, how many of those people actually have your back? Like, if you go through all of those and you tell them, like, hey, like, I need serious help, how many are actually going to text you back, or how many are just going to ignore you? So think about that before you post the next thing. Take action about what you're doing every day, because it's more important than you think.
And you have to put a price on your energy, because like Roy said, when you have more people, whether it be all these followers or things that you're trying to account for, that's more energy that you're giving out to other sources. And really the only way that you can be successful in whatever area you want it to be in life is if you can devote as much energy as possible to that area. So if you're going on Instagram and you're looking for the next model or girl, and you're trying to swipe through and go through all these DMs, that's taking bandwidth away from what could be your passion. Whether it be going to the gym, that's time that you're putting in that could be spent there. I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast earlier this week, and he was talking about bandwidth. And if you're going into, let's say, a Twitter argument, or again, whether it be looking up that girl or just getting yourself off track, and that takes 30% away of your bandwidth, that's only 70% that you can put into other areas of your life. So think about what you want to put your energy into, and think about what you go into a day doing, and actually see if it's adding up to what you want to do. And if it's not, you got to make that change.
Yeah, I think a lot of it stems from this, like the people that, not only the people that you surround yourself around, but the home life that you have, right? Like, a lot of people are unwilling to change and take action on a change that they want because they're scared of what their home life is going to entail, right? Like, oh, my parents aren't going to agree if I start doing this. Oh, like this and that. But at the end of the day, like, you need to do what's best for you. And if you're of age, maybe that means moving out and supporting yourself, because that's the only way you're going to actually understand what's actually important to you. Like, yes, you can live at home and whatever, like, it's cheaper, everyone wants to live that cheap life when they're young because they're all about spending money. But it's like, what are you actually learning by just setting yourself back, right? Like, you go to college, you get that, like, further education, as we say, right? I don't know if it's really, I'd call it a further education. I feel like it's more like a piece of expensive wallpaper, but you go get that expensive wallpaper.
That's for a different episode.
So you get that expensive wallpaper, and then you move back home. So, like, what action did you actually take? Like, you push yourself to get new things, you push yourself to try new things, you push yourself to reach a new level of success, and then you just go back to what you were before. Like, well, yes, some people go back because they're financially unstable and they need to build it forward, but the people that move back and live at home still 1, 2, 3, 4 years after you graduate, like, you're 23, 24 years old. What are you doing at home? Like, are you actually taking action with your life if you're still living at home? Like, well, yes, there's going to be some of you that are like, oh, well, I suffered from addiction, so I have to go back home. I suffered from this, I have to go back home. But that's not who I'm talking about. And you know, the people that are listening know who I'm talking about if it's you. Right? I'm not going to call you out, it's not important, but I could call some of you out that I know are watching this. I'm not going to though, but it's like, come on. Like if you really want to live the life of success that you're talking about, the life of meaning, the life of purpose, you want to give purpose to other people's lives, what are you doing living at home? Right? What are you doing working that basic intro job? Why aren't you pushing yourself to get something new? Why aren't your friends pushing you to get something better? Right? Are you having serious conversations with your friends, or are you talking about where the next weed dispensary to go at? Right? So think about that.
Yeah, it's in your grasp. Everything you want is in your grasp. And like Roy said, if you don't like your situation, you're complaining about it, it's not optimal, what are you doing to change it? If you're just going to sit and let it happen and just continue to complain, that's where your energy is going to go. But if you're going to be like, okay, I don't like this, what can I do today to put myself in a better situation, then that energy is going to build. So it's up to you how you use it. It's ultimately your decision. No one is holding you back but yourself. You have to go ahead and get yourself out there and get it moving.
Remember guys, at the end of the day, you're living your own life, right? Whatever's best for you is what's best for you. Don't be asking everyone what they should do for your life, right? Don't be asking everyone how they think you should live your life. You need to think to yourself, write it down. 3, 2, 1, take action. Get it done, starts today. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. We hope we gave you guys some good input. And we'll see you guys on the next one, so peace out.